Welcome back to the second part of the Grandmaster guide for Garden World. If you haven't seen the boss guide, I made that first, so it won't be included in this video. But in this video, I'm going to talk about from point A to point B all the way to the boss, some strategies that I use, and some tips that you can use as well to increase your survival in that beast ratio. So be careful when you're in the Garden World, because grounded is on, which means if you jump, you'll take a lot of damage. A Dreg can actually two-shot you in here. And when you're going through the infinite forest and you think you might be falling off a ledge and you're playing this support role, which is what I'm doing in this whole video, make sure if you're gonna fall off that ledge, just go ahead and take the chance and throw a healing nade up.
I'm throwing a healing grenade up to you. Hopefully it might land on you.
You better hit me with it.
It's right behind you, dude. Clutch.
Actually, that saved my life there,
Dude.
dude. That actually saved my life, bro.
You never know, but when you exit the infinite forest, this is a strategy that I always do. I use a rocket. I try not to use my rockets until this point. This is my first rocket because these ads will teleport in front of this hallway that you're standing in front of right when you come out if you don't start attacking right away. So I always do that. I use a shield disorient rocket for these minotaurs specifically because not only does it shield disorient the minotaur, but any ads around are also going to be disoriented. And I also have 3 boss resist, 1 minor resist, and 1 concussive dampener, so that I can take a little bit of extra shots whenever I am in the air and getting shot by those red bars. Once you get to the first set of champions, you're going to have 2 harpies come out. Go ahead and take them out first. Like I said, I'm on support role here. I have an ad clear heavy weapon, but my main job here is for overloads in the bow and for just sustained damage using an auto rifle, and Utepers is using Eriana. Situations like this are why I'm using 3 boss resists. There's a lot of snipers in this nightfall and I don't want to be one shot. So here's what it looks like when I'm using protective light. Now here's another shot without protective light, and then I have my shield busted. It gives me a little pinch of health, and having the 3 boss resist will also allow me to do strategies such as this. So after I take out the first champion, or Utepers I should say, I'm going to slide it behind this tree, and even though I did get sniped, I know I'm not going to get sniped back to back. I have room to recover, I have good recovery on, so I'm going to sneak up and you can do a head glitch on the second one. And like I said, if I do get hit again, it's not going to matter. He stepped in an overload grenade, and that's what the overload damage looks like. It's 50% resistance from what it looks like because it does the same thing that protective light would do. But that's why I balance the resist the way that I do, because I know what kind of strategies that I'm going to be using. I'm not trying to do overkill resistance, just enough to let me get from point A to point B. Now moving on to the second phase. So here's the first Minotaur boss. It's important that you run together, and you're going to run to that back tree that I'm shooting at right now. Now like I said, you want to get your team all together, count it down or whatever you got to do. As soon as you bust that square, all of you hop in, and right here as you start to fall, hit X if you're on console or your jump. That way you don't hit that square structure, and then just keep running. Now right here, if you're the one with the Nova Bomb, what you can do right there is don't do a charge grenade. Right after you pop it, do a spin around, throw your grenade and your Nova Bomb simultaneously, and before you land, spin back around and keep hauling ass all the way back here. Jump over this rock, plant a rift, and then start ad clearing. The only ads that are allowed to come back here are the goblins with their heads cut off, so try to kill them before they make their way back there. It's really easy. You can see I'm using Tomorrow's Answer with field prep and shield disorient with that crazy fast reload. Here's without the field prep reload, just using the blast radius and stock. But this is why I only use max blast rockets, so every one of my rockets is worth the max benefit, and I get around 12 to 15 meters of blast radius. So the ads that I'm not killing are going to be significantly damaged, as opposed to if I was using a low blast rocket, which I would only be killing half the ads, if that. And obviously if you have a small blast rocket, it's going to be really weak against mass ad clearing. But anyways, if you're using a cell weapon, make sure you're the one that kills the main minnow boss, because then you'll make a cell, and then the after ads that spawn after you kill that boss, you can easily just, rocket cell, or you can just shoot the cell to kill them all. It won't kill orange bars with the cell unless you're using rage. But if you're not using rage, they'll be pretty much almost dead. You can also just do a finisher. And if you're playing support role, make sure you do have special finisher on. I do that regardless, but somebody should have it on. Now for this next encounter, when you first walk in, you can kind of position yourself where the champion that snipes in the very back won't hit you. Just stand back there, then after you kill it, run up, and this is where you're going to drop your well of radius the first time in this entire strike. Now your job here while this well is going on is to take out that champion as fast as possible, and then with the time left, or if you're on a team of 3, you can already be turning to the harpies to pop them, because if you don't pop the harpies and the well runs out, you're going to run up here and do a head glitch. This is the best spot to fight from. But if you have any harpies that are still wandering around, their job is to get in front of the champions, and you'll have a situation like this going on. So if you're on a team of 3, have your arc person take out the harpies before the well ends. It'll work more efficiently that way. But like I said, walk up right here and do the head glitch. Now when you kill at least one of the champions from here, then you can go left to the other side, but still remaining on the lower level. Don't go up the stair set yet. So kill the champion, and then what you're gonna do again is another head glitch. There's 3 total in this entire room. So you're gonna kill your first on the right. Your second champ's probably gonna come over here where you see him now. Do the exact same thing, do the head glitch, and then your third and final champion, you can actually get the fanatics that blow themselves up to spawn. Now once they spawn, you want to kind of time it because you want them to come down the stair set a little bit. Let the champion go ahead and pop his shield up and try to time it so when the fanatics are around the champion, you throw a rocket right when you bust the shield, and then it blows and destroys the champion up all at once and can kind of save you ammo in a way. When you make it up the stair set, it's going to spawn 2 overload champions and a bunch of goblins and some snipers. Have the person who has the overload grenade throw it at that doorway, and you can also follow it with a rocket. I'm going to show you how you can control an overload champion using just a bow if somebody were to go down. So you clear out the ads, the overloads are going to follow you. Only one's going to follow you all the way to the very back. So I have UTEPR's wipe right here just so I can make this footage for this video right here. So shout out to him. But what I did was I have him wipe just to show you a scenario of if this were to happen. All you got to do if you have the overload bow is make sure you keep doing consistent style damage. I have 3 boss resist on and 1 concussive dampener, which is plenty of resist against a champion. Like I said, I never do overkill resistance. I try to balance all around the battlefield. And I don't want to put on like 5 concussive dampener and then have nothing for red bars and nothing but snipers or whatever. I don't need 5 concussive. I can do 3 and still get splash damage resistance from the 3 boss resist and from the 1 concussive dampener. But what I'm trying to display here is how to still be able to move around the map, not freak out, and maintain consistent damage on overloads if your job is for the overload. That way they don't keep healing themselves, or if you're a divinity player, make sure you keep pumping that trigger to keep that consistent damage, otherwise everybody's going to be wasting all their ammo. But being able to take control of your situations and not have to be that guy that's like, oh god, we're going to orbit, Ristopheles is on one left now. But anyways, moving on to the next encounter. This is where you're going to encounter 3 overload champions and then 1 at the end, and then your second minnow boss. I'm going to show you how 2 different situations can play out here. So the first 2 overloads are going to charge you to the very back. So as a team, you can all just kind of gang up on them and take them out rather quickly. It's not really a hard situation right here. But this second situation where you have the 3rd minotaur in the back, if you try to kill it from back here, what happens a lot of the time is the minnow boss will step right in front of you and start blasting at everybody, and you don't want to have that situation. But this is where strategy and playing the overload role comes in handy. Pay attention to when I first shoot that 3rd overload. So I'm going to shoot him right as I turn the corner right here. What that's going to do, it's going to make him stagger and not be able to get out of that stagger state until I already pop the square and then run backwards. And pay attention to my health right here, and I'm jumping with airborne on. I get hit, but my shield doesn't ever bust. Now let me show you this same strategy again, except this time I'm going to shoot the overload a lot earlier. So right when I get here, I'm going to shoot him and then watch how this all plays out. So he gets staggered, but by the time I get over there to pop the square, he's ready to do damage right there, which he could have easily just shot me and killed me with 1 shot with airborne on as I'm jumping up. And he actually does hit me right here and then busts my shield. But again, the 3 boss resist and 1 concussive dampener is just enough resistance in this nightfall to where I can still survive that. I'm not going to be hanging out too far. I know when to get back. And that's another level that I take it to by knowing how I react when my shield gets busted, such as right here. 3 boss resists, 1 concussive dampener. Every time I get my shield busted, especially against a bigger target, I know when to get behind cover. I know I need 1 concussive dampener, and also for the snipers, I need the 3 boss resist, and you see that it leaves me with that pinch of health to where I can still tank that damage and survive. So like I said, I always want to be balanced for every type of enemy that I'm going to be facing that's going to give me the most threat, which are the red bar snipers, the champion snipers, the splash damage, which the boss resist is also going to protect me against, that 1 concussive, and that 1 minor. So it's always going to be balanced for the entire situation. Now the next set of champions are going to be these 2 boomers right here. Now if you're trying to do a finisher at the end to get ammo for the next encounter, you want to make sure that you run up and do a finisher and have your teammates kind of with you the entire time to catch the ammo before it falls off. Otherwise, you'll have this situation like this where the ammo just kind of goes everywhere and falls off the cliffside. There's a pretty hard lesson we learned in this next area. So obviously you're going to have the goblins run down the stair set. You can kind of do the head glitch in this next area, but a lot of the time they'll back up and keep, stepping in front of each other. So I'll show you another location you can stand in, but you might want to use your well in this situation because you're not going to need your well again until the final part before the boss fight. But here's the first area that I recommend. If you're on Benevolent Dawn using the Well of Radiance, just keep planting rift after rift and make sure your teammate stands in it so you get that recharge back. And then another location you can do it in is right here to the left. This is where I recommend to pop your Well of Radiance if you do have it. But it's important to focus on the left side champion. The reason is because there's nothing between you and that champion, but you have that squared brick structure to the right of you blocking the second champ to the right. Also, another tip, just to make sure you don't run out of ammo here, because you can, those first goblins that came down the ramp when you first entered this area, don't forget you can also shoot them in the head to break their heads off and make them run towards you to do a finisher for ammo. Now here is the hard lesson we had to learn. I ended up thinking that I could do a finisher on this Minotaur because when they get to the left side of the letter O on their name overload, it means they're going to be ready for the finisher, but obviously it didn't work out. And then the Minotaur would not leave my body alone, which causes UTEPers to have to run backwards in hopes to get him to go away. But then this happened.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, it's running a grenade. He's not even getting. Yeah, he's just on. Oh, it's making. No, go back, go back, go back.
Oh, it's going.
No way.
Get the fuck
fuck out.
So if that ever happens, don't run back because it takes you to orbit and kills you for whatever reason. So the next room after this, the overloads are going to run back to you. There's really no tip that I can give you except for this one. If you are on Well of Radiance subclass, use the Divine Protection before you go pop the square, because if you go in without it, you can get boomed really quickly by that Minotaur and that also the boss. So you can see right there that I was able to survive it with the overshield, which allowed me to tank it, and then obviously great recovery to maintain yourself inside the battle. And now we move on to the very final room. So there's a lot of things you can do here that can make a lot of things go wrong. So I'll give you what we did. If you want, you can take turns throwing grenade after grenade and then use Benevolent Dawn to keep getting the recharge of it back. Or what you can do is have your other teammate that has the overload grenade go up first to throw the overload grenade on the Minotaur to stun him while you use your rockets to add clear. Another reason I like max blast radius for that add clear purpose, and it definitely pays off by having Tomorrow's Answer, which I recommend farming that out from trials. Now another thing you can do is after you add clear, just keep going up one at a time. That way if one of you wipes, another one can revive or stay alive basically. But be careful because you can fall to your death like I just did and cause a phantom death, which can happen to the best of us. But after that, just keep going up one at a time, drop your final Will of Radiance before the boss battle, and honestly your entire team can throw all their supers out if they want to, because you actually don't even need your super at all during the boss battle. If you want to watch part number 1, or should I say part number 2, because I did the boss strategy video first, but the last ad is only going to be that Hydra, and he's easy to take out. Just stand back, your anti-barrier weapon goes right through the shield. If you want to see the boss strategy, how you can easily, very easily solo that boss this week to get that double loot drops, definitely check that video out. But other than that, thanks for tuning in, Guardian. Thanks for listening to all these tips. If you liked it, leave the comment below. Tell me what you got this week from the Grandmaster. I'd like to hear about your drop rate with that double the drop rate basically. If you want to shop at teespring.com/inspace/80sdestiny or /rustowinter to check out some new winter merch. You can also check out Destiny Lounge on top of that if you want to get a pillow and blanket for this winter. But thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button for more content. Join the Beast Squad or even enlist at paypal.me/Ristopoulos. But make sure to turn those notifications on. I'll see you in my next video, Guardians, next time.
Space.